But I'm just saying that a lot of people can change if they want to. If they go get the proper help, they could do it. It's within your heart. You know what I mean? After you stop getting high and stop doing drugs, and then you want to take it to the next level, that's what I'm doing today. I mean, like, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I'm an angel. I'm just doing what I have to do in order to survive. Because first of all, I'll be 52 next month, May the 15th. And I don't want to keep, like, causing harm to other people or destroying people and shutting them down. You know, I want to be a positive role model to somebody if I can. It doesn't end here because you know you're capable of going backwards. And I don't want to go backwards. I want to continue going forwards. You know, because once you get something, don't think because you was granted a part and that everything is like clean. You got to continue on trying to keep the focus on you and keep a positive look on life so people could just like look at you and say, wow, if she could do it, I could do it.
I had a few limitations, medical, from surgeries and what have you, but I could manage, I could work. Knowing my limitations, I could follow through. So I was interviewing and it was great. I had the director of nurses, she knew me because I had worked with her and she knew the quality of my work. And I couldn't figure out after all these great interviews why I wasn't getting hired. See, I don't know anything about the criminal justice system. And I said, I wasn't arrested, I walked in on my own. And she said, well, dear, that's called an arrest. And I said, oh. I said, well, what now? She said, you have to get an expungement. I said, what is an expungement? And she began to tell me the process, and I got the pack of papers, and I had to go down to Troop 2, I believe it was, and get fingerprinted. And the thing is, I was on a fixed income because I was just trying to return to work, but physically, I didn't get there because of the saying that I did not have a record. I didn't realize I had one. So that put me in a very terrible situation because I had worked all my life as a nurse. And then my back started acting up, so I became disabled for a while. And I had my grandson, and I was fighting the courts for him. So I believe the stress is what caused the increase in pain and what have you. I got my fingerprints about 2 or 3 times, but I never had the rest of the money to proceed to get the expungement. So I went to voc rehab. I still have limitations, but I know what I can and cannot do. I know I can never be an RN again. I accepted that. But I went to voc rehab and I told them that I want to work. And I told them that I had drawn blood at Gander Hill. So we filled out all the paperwork, and I started at Dawn Career Institute for Medical Assistant, phlebotomy, and for EKG tech. I went there, and in the process I met this lady named Dominique Green, and she works at Apex, or for Apex. And she told me she wanted to help me get my record expunged. Well, I sent her a stack of papers, including my pardon from the governor. And we talked about how she was going to help me get everything on point so I could get my record expunged. She did an excellent job. It lifted the burden off of me because I didn't understand all the legalities and what I had to do. And the fact that I had already spent money twice trying to get it done and wasn't able to follow through, it was a blessing. She got all the papers set up. I went back and got my fingerprints again. She had my whole chart. I sent her everything, so she knew what she was going to deal with. She stayed in touch with me constantly. I like that because I like to know what's going on. And I told her that I had gotten a paper. I got the letter, and it said something about my expungement, and they were dealing with it at that time, and that they would give her further information. well, me further information. I thought it meant that the expungement had gone through, so I was excited and I called Dominic and everything. But in reality, they were just notifying me, letting me know that the process was going on. So when I got the next letter, as a matter of fact, it was just this April, it said that my record would be expunged, but I had to wait. And they said 20 days, but it's been a little bit longer than 20 days. But they said my expungement wasn't approved, and I would be getting the final statements in a letter as soon as it got finished. And I called Dominique and I let her know, and it was all great. Apex is a great opportunity for anyone who feels that they've made a mistake and they can't start a new life. Go to this program, go through the process, let them help you. No one can guarantee you anything, but if you just take the opportunity to make that first step, let them know you're trying to become a citizen, productive in the community. And yes, you made a mistake, just like I made a mistake, but that you want to do better. And I did it, and if I did it, anybody else can do it. So don't give up. Keep trying. Move forward. Don't let a record send you back into the streets.
And I know that when you apply for jobs, the higher pay grade you go, the more extensive the background checks are going to be. So I knew that was always going to haunt me if I didn't at least do anything I could to try to clean it up. So I started to think, how am I going to graduate and then apply at any number of jobs, and then just only to get through the process, and they may be totally satisfied with my ability to perform and do the job, and then they run the background check and HR chimes in and says, this guy's got burglary, theft, drunken misconduct, DUIs, harassment. No way. I'll never get hired. Sat down with me. The biggest help that Apex was it's like you go there and you sit down and they ask you the questions that are on the paper, really, and they guide you through the process, and that's kind of helpful. I mean, it may sound unnecessary, and I guess maybe it is, but it's something really, there's something to be said about someone kind of cheering you on or helping you or guiding you and saying, this is the next thing, okay, good, you did this, check, this is the next thing, and this is the next thing. And that's what Apex did for me, It would help me to kind of do that. And then when everything was together, instead of me being unsure about how to send stuff, made all the copies for me, and then put all the stuff in the envelope, and it was sealed, and I had a kind of a feeling of good, this is sealed. And there's a guy that has a job that gets paid that is saying that we did this right, and now it's going to go to the governor. So you feel like your anxiety about whether or not it was done correctly is alleviated. The thing is, I think when you complete the application process and you're thorough, like I was thorough, I was fully descriptive about every single charge and how it happened, what went down. And then they give an opportunity for you to write what's happened since. And I submitted letters of recommendation from my advisor here at the University of Delaware, the assistant dean of my college, my sponsor in AA, and my boss at work. So I had letters of recommendation, people that were willing to vouch for me and what I was doing today, and the kind of life that I live today. And if it's really different, and if it's really not the way you're living, and you're really living the right way these days, that's all they want to see. They want to see you've changed, you've turned your life around, you're now a productive member of society, and that you've got the respect and of people in your life. Mm-hmm. So that was it. My application was enough, and they just made the announcement. And I walked out and just weight lifted.